Hello world, welcome to the 255th climate change emergency protest here in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. It is October 11th, 2023, and I'm out here on the Gettysburg battlefield. First day's battle. There are 3 days in the battle. Next week is the 256th climate change emergency protest. That'll be on October 19th, 2023. So right now we're seeing a bit of revenge, a lot of revenge going on between Israel and Gaza back to Israel, Hamas to Israel, things like that. Um, it goes back to the Babylonian codes and the Roman codes and the Islamic law and the Old Testament, Leviticus, I think it was, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. You know what happens when you get an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth? Everyone is blind and everyone has to gum their food. That's all you get out of it. There's no gaining with this. It just creates more hostility. I understand why Israel feels the need to respond. They've got their revenge. They killed 1,300 so far, if not 2,000 people. Stop it already. Hamas needs to stop their stuff. We will not go forward with climate change if we continue on this path of involving other nations, of course, and then each nation is battling each other. You got the Ukrainian-Russian thing going on. You got China and Taiwan and the United States standing off against each other. You got fighting in Africa. You got fighting everywhere. It's ridiculous. And we'll not go forward with climate change action until everyone stops this. And what's going to happen in the Middle East in the spring is with, I surmise, with this El Nino coming about, this super El Nino, you're going to see an unlivable situation there. And the only thing I can hope for at this point, if they're not going to stop fighting, is that it becomes unlivable, that it gets so hot that they stop fighting altogether and they realize there's a bigger issue involved here. So right now, the U.S. has a perfectly good State Department, that's supposed to negotiate and have diplomats and things like that. They never use it. They haven't used that since before the year 2000. It's ridiculous what's going on. In fact, they didn't even use it in the year 2000. They haven't used it in a long, long time. And the United Nations right now, it gets 25% of their funding from the United States, $12 billion a year. $20 billion a year, for example, would end homelessness throughout the world. $35 billion a year is the amount Americans contribute for gym memberships, which is double the amount of hope that would cure homelessness. So you're spending more on gym memberships by double, but we can't cure homelessness. We can't fix it. $36 billion is allocated per year. $36 billion to fix climate change. What a joke. It's going to take trillions of dollars, and we're losing trillions of dollars every year in damage right now. $44 billion is allocated towards Ukraine in 2023 to go blow the crap out of each other. The military United States, you're talking 20 billion here and there. The military United States gets $842 billion a year from the United States for their funding. $842 billion, plus another $137 billion for the Veterans Administration. So you're talking over $1 trillion a year given to military-related activities. But we can't fix anything else. We can't go to climate change. $37 billion for climate change per year, or $36 billion, and $1 trillion a year for the military. To the fossil fuel industry, we're given $7 trillion a year throughout the world, $19 billion a day. Just think of what we could do with that money. It's ridiculous what's going on. The fossil fuel industry makes extreme profits, but yet we contribute and we give them subsidies. It's nuts. Extreme poverty worldwide, we could end that with $350 billion. $350 billion would stop extreme poverty throughout the world. So, Biden says, oh, Americans, we're right behind Israel, with you all the way. There's no consulting with Americans as to what's going on. And no one asked me. My solution is to stop all hostilities altogether and, be like the parent, just grab them both by the scruff of the neck and move forward. So there's no survival involved. There's no survival plan involved for climate change. There's no logic and there's no priorities. Israel and Hamas are fighting, as I said, Ukraine, Russia, China, USA. Climate change is a guaranteed extinction. We will not survive this on the path we're on right now. And we're going to see massive effects starting in December, January, somewhere in there. So this coming spring, it's going to be a hellscape for the United States. It's going to be a hellscape for much of the world. if we live that long. We got nuclear weapons available in like 9 countries or 7 countries. We have an uninformed public about climate change. We don't know what's going on with that. We're being propagandized by the media and by the politicians and the governments. They act like we're behind them. These big decisions that are made as far as war goes and investing with fossil fuels and things like that. No one consults the American people. There's no vote for it. They think once they get the vote and they're in charge, they have the right to go do whatever they want, and that's what the American people allows, and they should not at this point. Right now, the world has left the Goldilocks zone. This is a zone where it's inhabitable. It's where it's comfortable, where things have stayed the same, and now we're pushing ourselves into an uninhabitable area of the universe, of the solar system. So right now, basically, what we're doing is we're having a fist fight on an airplane that's being plunged to the ground by crazy pilots, and we're all fighting about what we're getting for lunch, and we're having a fist fight, an all-out fist fight. But yet, the craziness of it all is we're headed towards the ground. We're going to crash. We're headed for extinction. There's no way out of this unless possibly, in some remote chance possibly, all this money that's being thrown at other stupid projects gets used to fight climate change. Okay? There's no reason we need extreme poverty in the world. There's no reason people need to be fighting each other. There's more than enough land for everybody. Gaza's being choked off. It's an outdoor prison. That's all there is to it. And of course, they're going to respond in whatever way they can because they're being treated worse than animals, worse than dogs, and they're being choked off in many different ways. They have been for the last 50 years. So they're going to have their response. Other countries have said they want to overthrow Israel and get rid of them altogether, exterminate them. These are the type of thought processes that no one calls both parties out and goes, you know what? We need a peaceful solution. We need a grown-up solution and to figure a way out of it. So I'll catch you next week. That'll be number 256, Climate Change Emergency Protest, and that'll be on October 19th.